Good day. I want to talk to you about how technological advancements is also changing our society. Although these advancements have been a boon for the scientific and the medical fields, it's also creating a society that's becoming more and more dependent on these technologies to survive. We've had so many technological advancements recently, it's hard to put them all into this one thesis. I am going to concentrate on five, however. IBM's Watson, cell phones and smartphones, the TV, the internet, and miscellaneous advancements for the home. Watson is unlike any other computer system that you've ever worked with. Unlike your laptop that already has a Windows loaded on it, Watson is a learning system. In other words, it learns from immense amount of data, both structured and unstructured, runs through algorithms, logic rules, human expertise input, and files this data away. In the same respect, is using what humans would utilize to answer a question. It observes, interprets, evaluates, and then decides. Watson is in all respects an AI, artificial intelligence. He's being used for various tasks in the medical field in particular, from anything from DNA analysis to MRI analysis. And what Watson doesn't get right, the human expertise steps in and teaches him. He's being used for three major cancer centers in the U.S. Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, University of Texas M&D Anderson Cancer Center, and the Mayo Clinic. Watson is also being utilized to input patient data. No longer does a nurse have to stand there in front of the computer and typing. Now she just has to speak, and Watson inputs the data. Watson understands many different languages and utilized worldwide. That's another advantage. Whatever data Watson has is accessible to anyone on the web. Watson, as a matter of fact, is also in my cell phone. When I access the Weather Channel, with Watson shows on the bottom of it. Cell phones have become an addiction to the young people. They're systematically changing the social interaction of everyday lives and whoever deals with them, particularly with the teenagers. Now, in January 2018, the Pew Research Center did an analysis. They found that 95% of the Americans own a cell phone. 77% of that owns a smartphone. These cell phones and smartphones have systematically changed the way that we're interacting with people on a day-to-day basis. Young people, young adults, 80% of them said they prefer text messaging over meeting a friend. 15% of them said they would end a relationship via a text message, and 25% reported they've been dumped. Cyberbullying has also become a real issue with text messaging. From ages 5 to 17, were admitted to hospitals for attempted suicide or suicidal thoughts has nearly doubled in the past decade. Cell phones are also being used for good. People are recording criminal acts as they happen. A good example of this is marathon runner David Green at the Boston Marathon. He had his smartphone up, and right after the bombs went off, he happened to photograph what was going on afterward. It just so happened he caught a picture of Tarzanov calmly walking away from the bombing site. A friend of his, when he posted it on Facebook, said, "You know what? That looks a lot like the guy that FBI is putting up there, a face of him." Well, Green contacted the FBI, posted his photo to him, and sure enough, that was Tazmarov, and that photo was used in his trial to convict him. Another good thing that cell phones are being used for is an active shooter in a school. Students are texting each other, "Are you okay? Do you know where the shooter is? Is everybody okay?" And the teachers are utilizing it to contact the police as well as each other to evaluate the situation. Recently, cell phones have been utilized as a new social media platform through Twitter. Our current president has been using Twitter to tweet out his thoughts on about everything. His personal feelings, changes to government policies, it is all out there. He's been chastising those who disagree with him, applauding those who do agree with him, And government policies with a few clicks on the button and send, he's changed a government policy. Now, realize that all of his tweets are recorded under the Federal Acts Amendments of 2014, which means they can't be erased. They're all out there for everyone to access, both now and in the future. I think these tweets have desensitized our society's tolerance of people that are quote unquote different from us. It has changed the way that we look at people now, religious-wise, color-wise, where they come from. There's a lot of anger and verbally and physically being expressed from people to people that they consider different. As a matter of fact, these different people are being deemed criminal, not by a judge or jury, but by a single tweet. Cell phones and smartphones aren't the only way the technological medium is being used to communicate with people. TV still ranks as the #1 communication for mass media. TVs have advanced so much in the last few years. We've got televisions now that have such lifelike pictures and real sound that you don't need to go outside. All you need to do is sit in the living room and turn your TV on. One thing that I have found out, most households, unless you're in mine, have 2 TVs, one for the adults, one for the kids. Now, socially, this can play 2 ways. TV can be utilized for the family to sit down and watch a movie together. 2 TVs, well, the kids are going to break off and go play their video games somewhere. Well, the adults watch their shows. With today's globalization, TVs have become an integral part of how we see the news, the healthcare, travel, entertainment, and it's also being utilized for education. I mean, who doesn't know about Sesame Street? This education is going to drive schools more and more to incorporate this technology into their learning process because these kids are entering the school already knowing their ABCs. The globalization of TV has also created a situation where a person in the U.S., while drinking their morning coffee, can watch BBC and the news that's in Britain. In the same respect, a person in London can watch the U.S. news on CNN. Most of these news stations, these news channels, have incorporated news stations worldwide so that you get the news real time. The bad thing about TV is that you have ads that inundate you every 7 or 8 minutes. I don't know how many times I sat down to my program and said, you know, it's my program, and every 8 minutes there's an ad. Also, cable companies like Spectrum have been updating their fiber optic network to account for all these advances that are happening in the TVs. These TVs and their ads are now spreading into the internet. The internet has become a boon for advertisers. Anytime that you go in and do a Google search or utilize a search engine, whatever you're searching for is being filed away, and you're going to see an ad pop up that's related to that search. A good example of that is I went to looking for a dog for my mom. She's 87, lives alone. As soon as I exited that website, all of a sudden all these ads popped up. Best dog bowl here. Best dog food here. Join ASPCA. Oh my word. And corporations such as Amazon are now based in cyberspace only. There's no brick and mortar to them. At the click of a mouse in front of your TV on your laptop, you can order anything from human hair extensions to baby bottles. The brick and mortar companies to keep up with these cyber companies, Walmart, Market 32, they're all also incorporating internet ordering as part of their business strategy. In other words, you can do your grocery shopping at home, on your laptop, at your dining room table, while watching TV if you want, and pick it up half an hour later, an hour later, and it'll be ready for you. This real-time access to other users and other companies has become the backbone of a lot of businesses, especially those that are worldwide. Now, I work in a worldwide cooperation, and a good example of this is we had a meeting via Google Chat. One engineer in Singapore, two that were in Germany, there was a salesperson in California, and there was three of us from Malta. All of us together, talking together, there was no question asked that couldn't be answered, and everybody knew what was going on. This is valuable to businesses, especially when they're dealing with customers. The internet has also created a cyberspace society. Facebook is one of the major ones. Now, Facebook, because it's open to everybody, they can post whatever they want. It's also open to anybody to come in and create social websites that aren't even from the USA. This past election has been a real eye-opener. A Russian government-linked group called the IRA, or the Internet Research Agency, went into Facebook as American activists and created social websites. These websites were visited by millions of people. Now, whether it changed their minds during the election or not, we'll never find out. The same respect, Facebook was accessed 550 million people. Their profile was accessed by a company called Cambridge Analytica. These profiles from these 50 million users, and they didn't even know that their profiles had gone out there. They were utilized for political interests, social geographic locations, and battleground states. This proves that whatever you put out on cyberspace, you better be willing to give out your information to whoever's out there, because there are no protections to stop it. There is an ongoing, as a matter of fact, investigation on this Russian infiltration, and also how possibly we could protect ourselves from further involvement. Household technology has been a big one recently. You now have Roomba the robot that'll go around and clean your floors for you. You have a refrigerator that can turn your TV on and off when dinner is there. Without these little gadgets hanging around, including Google Alexis that can do everything from turning your lights off to ordering food from your favorite restaurant, people start to feel like castaways on a desert island because we're becoming more dependent on this technology. In the same respect, it might give us more family time. I don't have to vacuum now. Roomba the robot's going to take care of it. There's always good and bad to technology, no matter which way you go. In the final analysis, I think it's going to boil down to what we want to do with what we got. It was the baby boomers that laid in the groundwork for this generation coming in. It was the baby boomer generation that created these technological advancements such as the internet, programmable computers. And now we have to deal with, will the human interaction now be replaced with a text message, Skype chat over cyberspace? Will computers like IBM's Watson, which is in effect an AI, become an integral part of society? Isaac Asimov, in his Robot and Foundation series, which is awesome, by the way, wrote of a future where AI robots were integrated into a society so much that they were considered equal to their humans. The zeroth law, Asimov's zeroth law, robotic law, robot may not harm humanity or through inaction allow humanity to come to harm. Now think about that. It's up to the next generation to decide where they want to go with what we've already developed for them. What we have here might not be there in 70 or 80 years. Each generation is going to be different. I appreciate you watching this, and if you have any questions, please let me know.